two murder investigations from the case files of Lieutenant Joe Kenda. First, a quiet evening is pierced by gunfire.
Please, he's hot.
He's been shot in the back and it exited his chest.
Lieutenant Kenda is on the hunt for a faceless gunman with a mysterious motive.
Our question is, why did this happen?
Did he make somebody mad? Was he at the wrong place at the wrong time?
That name hit me like a slap in the face.
Yo, come on, we're coming in.
Then, an attempt to settle a score turns fatal.
I know you won't.
At that moment, I was very upset, pissed off.
Jealousy and rage and obsession. It's a pretty bad cocktail.
Murder's like the economy. It goes up and down. You have good years, bad years. Something I've always found interesting, when murder is down somewhere, it's down everywhere. It's almost as if there is a national biorhythm. But could I explain that? No. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
Clyde Williams and Barry Loggins were driving home after a 4th of July get-together. It was a nice summer night. They had the windows down.
July 4th in Colorado Springs area, there's a lot of people out celebrating early, celebrating late, running fireworks all the time.
Bro, I'm so psyched about this weekend. You're going to Bobby's party, right?
For sure.
Nice. Man, the Roman candles he got, gonna be awesome. Dude, what the hell is this guy doing? God, help me. Please. Please. Yo, what happened, man? Oh my God. Now, what are we gonna do?
They see that he's been shot. This guy is in bad shape. He's bleeding profusely, and he subsequently loses consciousness.
What are you gonna do? Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Somebody help. Call 911 now.
Is he okay?
Call 911.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Across town, the Kenda's neighbors are also feeling the holiday spirit.
Joe, make it stop. This is ridiculous.
Looks like a cat. The dog is barking and everybody's up in my house. Well, we certainly know who that is at 2:15 in the morning.
It's Kevin. Potter San Miguel. I'll be right there. Sorry, kid.
Be safe, honey.
I will.
Normally, I'd bury my face in my pillow at 2 in the morning, but on this night, I would take any excuse to escape that racket.
30 minutes later, Kenda steps out onto East San Miguel.
Hey, Mike, so what do we got?
The Vic is 27-year-old Donald Zomp hospital in critical condition.
Donald Zampa is 27 years old. He's only been in Colorado Springs for a few months, and he is a maintenance worker at a local motel.
Any witnesses? The two guys that found him didn't see anything. Now, we are currently canvassing the neighborhood as we speak.
This the guy right here, huh?
Right there.
The crime scene itself is bloodstained, of course, and there's some medical waste laying around, and also the shirt and sport coat worn by the victim. It is unusual to find someone wearing a sport coat and tie in this neighborhood at 2:30 in the morning. So where did he come from And where was he going to, and what interrupted that?
Now the slug is over here. CSI says it looks like a 38.
So one right through him, huh?
Yeah. He's been shot in the back, and it exited his chest.
Could have been a robbery. Did you find any money on him?
You know, I thought the same thing, except that his wallet's still in his pants right there, with $20 still in it.
Well, that's strange. If this is a robbery, why wouldn't they have taken his wallet?
It could be an intentional assault against Donald Zampa for some reason, some perceived wrong he's committed against someone, some enemy of his. At this point, we have many more questions than we have answers.
Hey, Sergeant. Got the kid called in the shooting if you want to speak to him.
Sure, where is he?
It's right down here.
Chris Powell's a white male, about 18 years old, kind of small in stature.
Can you tell us what you're doing out here tonight?
Well, I wasn't out. I was at my buddy's place down the street.
What were you doing there?
I'm staying there. I came from Ohio, so I'm kind of figuring out the job situation. You know, it's really hard these days.
Yeah, I understand. But tonight, how'd you end up calling the police?
He tells us that he hears a gunshot. He looks out, he sees the victim down and sees two other people running up to him to help.
So I figured the best thing to do was call you guys.
So you didn't see the shooter or anyone suspicious?
No sir, no sir.
You look extremely nervous, Mr. Powell. Is there more to this story that you're not telling us?
Is everything all right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was just crazy to see, you know, that's all. Is that guy gonna be okay?
We don't know. Thank you.
He was awfully nervous.
Sure was.
Here's an 18-year-old, probably has never seen somebody shot. He may not be hiding anything, but we, being cops, are going to question that.
Hey, Sergeant. We just got word from the hospital. The victim's conscious.
Good, good. I'm gonna take a ride over to Memorial. I want you to go ahead and supervise the rest of the canvas. I'll be right back.
You got it.
This is good for us. There might be something he could tell us that'll help clear up this matter.
Excuse me, can I have a minute with him?
Sure. Need to make it quick. He's not out of the woods yet. We're prepping him for another surgery.
This may be the last opportunity for Donald Zampa to say anything, because if he doesn't survive the surgery, then the only statement we're going to get is what we're going to get right now.
Donald, I'm Sergeant Kent. How you feeling?
I've been better.
I'm sure. What happened tonight?
Okay. I went to Graham's for a drink and to watch the game.
Graham's was more of a neighborhood bar where people hung out. People knew each other, and Donald was a regular customer.
He tells us that he left the bar and he was walking home. As he's walking, he hears somebody yell at him.
Don't turn around.
Oh, man.
And he feels what he believes to be a gun pushed into his back.
Keep your hands up and get on your knees.
Come on, man.
Easy.
I had no idea what was happening, so I just did whatever the guy told me. But then as soon as I knelt down, I heard this loud crack and my chest got hot. Then everything went numb and I couldn't move.
So, of course, we asked Donald, do you have enemies? Is there somebody out to get you? He said, oh, no, I don't make enemies. I make friends. So that eliminates the possibility of most likely a known person to him. This is someone that doesn't know him at all.
Sergeant, it's time to head out.
All right, just one more question. Is there anything at all you can remember about this guy?
Yeah, actually. He had an accent, maybe like a Hispanic accent.
All right, well, thank you.
Sorry, Kendall.
I understand.
Kenda heads back to the crime scene with troubles on his mind.
You know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do we know? Is he an Hispanic male? Probably. Does he know Donald Zampa? Probably not. We have very little to go on here. Very little to do.
Mike?
Hey, Kenda. You hear anything at the hospital?
No, I didn't get much. It says the shooter sounds Hispanic.
That's funny. We got a witness who says he saw the shooter, thinks he looks Hispanic.
Really?
Well, now, maybe that's our guy. That's the first interesting thing I've heard tonight. We're working on the shooting of 27-year-old Donald Zampa. All we know is his shooter sounded Hispanic. But now we have a witness who claims to have seen the shooter. Our witness is Edward Esterly. He's living immediately adjacent to the scene.
Who told you saw something tonight?
He reports that he has been up and down during the night because in the last several days, they've been having problems in this neighborhood with break-ins of cars.
When I looked out the window to check on my car, I saw this Hispanic guy looking into it. But when I got outside, the guy was gone. And then I heard the gunshot, and I got the hell out of there.
So could that mean that this Hispanic male was looking to steal something out of cars? And at that moment, he notices Mr. Zampa strolling down the street, and does he decide he needs to remove a potential witness?
Keep your hands up and get on your knees.
What this guy look like?
He was definitely Hispanic, I guess 25 to 30 years old.
You remember what he was wearing?
Yeah, he had on this weird-looking Hawaiian shirt.
Is this guy possibly the suspect? We don't know, but that's where we're headed at this point.
Hey, Sarge. Hey, we still got a guy matching that description.
Where is he?
He's in the cruiser.
Thanks for your help.
Well, could this be our mysterious man?
Tell us your name.
Miguel Diaz.
He does not have a Hispanic accent. He has no discernible accent whatsoever.
That really kind of blows our theory out of the water, but we still look into him.
So what are you doing out here tonight, Miguel?
I was on my way home, and I heard a couple guys shout that someone got shot. Saw the guy lying on the street, so I ran off, found a payphone, called 911.
You checking that for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we got some reports of a guy in a Hawaiian shirt peering into vehicles. What can you tell me about that?
I just really like cars. Checks out.
We were able to confirm that he had called 911 to report this crime. So his story is holding true. Maybe he's a BMV suspect and not a murder suspect.
Okay, Miguel. You're free to go. Just make sure we get his name to burglary, okay?
You got it.
So we're still at the beginning. Who confronted Donald Zampa? It wasn't Miguel. Then who was it?
Over the next few days, no new leads materialize.
Everyone we've encountered so far who could be, might be the guy is not the guy. The only good news is Zampa continues to live.
But an unexpected tip is about to send the case in a whole new direction.
Sir, there's a call for you. Someone from Cincinnati. You want to talk about the Zampa case?
Cincinnati. Which line?
2.
It is unusual to get a call from another state about a case that's only a few days old in your city. That is a real indicator that whoever is on the other end of that phone has some direct knowledge.
Sergeant Kenda, who am I speaking to?
Hello, sir. Yes, my name's Charles Norton. I'm calling because my stepson has something he needs to talk to you about regarding the shooting the other night.
And who's your stepson?
His name is Chris Powell.
Chris Powell, huh?
That name hit me like a slap in the face. You mean the nervous little kid that was at the crime scene?
Hello?
We were suspicious at the time that Mr. Powell knew more than he was saying, and we were right. So the phone rings, and it's a call from Cincinnati, Ohio, and it is a wealth of information.
Chris, this is Sergeant Kendall. You remember me?
Yes?
And you have something you need to tell me?
Christopher.
You can hear in the background his stepfather basically saying, you either tell the truth or you're out on your ear and you have no place to go.
I didn't tell you the whole story.
I didn't think so, Christopher, so here is your second chance to be truthful.
The other night, when I said I was at home, I was actually headed home with a friend of mine.
He identifies his friend as Rodney McFarland. He's 21 years old.
This McFarland, he's a white guy?
Yes, sir.
We're kind of questioning this because we're looking for Hispanic male.
All right, so what happened?
Well, Rodney was driving. No. What's wrong, man? And as soon as we pulled up on the San Miguel, the car stalled.
Oh, no, come on, you piece of crap.
Rodney's upset because he didn't have any money to fix this car to make it run. And they both see this guy coming toward them on the sidewalk, wearing a suit and tie, and he's obviously drunk.
Look at this fool.
Rodney turns to Powell and says, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to rob him.
You can't just rob the guy, you know? What if you get caught, huh? Don't worry. This guy's my voice. And he told me he was going to speak in a Hispanic accent, so the guy wouldn't be able to identify him.
Chris Powell's explanation for the accent gives newfound credibility to his story.
The only person who knew that was the victim, and the only way you could know it is if you were standing there like you said you were. I absolutely believe Mr. Powell has come forward finally with the truth.
So what happened next?
Well, he ran up to the guy. I heard a bang, and I just started running. You know, now listen, I tried to do the right thing, you know, by calling the police. It's just that I got a little scared afterwards. So, I'm back here with my folks in Cincinnati.
Chris wanted to do the right thing, and he maybe needed that extra support from his family to come forward and give that information.
Despite Chris Powell's story, there's still one detail that doesn't add up.
Do you know why Rodney shot the victim instead of taking his money?
I don't know. I couldn't even believe he did it.
So you know where the gun is?
Yeah. He told me he keeps it in this, like, big case for cassettes. It's probably in his room somewhere.
Where's Rodney live?
We're able to obtain a warrant for the arrest of Rodney, and we go to that residence in an effort to execute that warrant.
You make an assumption that Rodney is armed and he's going to resist, so you approach guns drawn.
Hey,
We're looking for Rodney McFarland.
my brother? He ain't here.
You sure about that? Harboring a fugitive is a felony.
Mr. McFarland, where is your brother?
If Joe Kenda tells you you're going to tell me where Rodney is, you're going to tell him where Rodney is.
He's in the back.
Step aside.
This is a very intense and high-risk operation at this point because he could be on the other side of the door just waiting for us to come in.
This is the police. Come out with your hands where we can see them. You come out, we're coming in.
And you won't like what happens next when we come in.
With your hands.
I didn't mean to.
Go ahead and cuff him.
Rodney doesn't want to engage. He is just frightened.
Turn around.
Where's it going, Rodney? I don't know. I want a lawyer. All right, get him out of here.
Fine. That is your constitutional right, Mr. McFarland. But right now, you're going to jail.
Let's find that gun.
We do find the gun in a cassette case, just as it was described.
This looks like a 38. Well, that's the one. Let's bag and get the hell out of here.
Although Rodney McFarland refuses to talk, ballistics testing on the gun does all the talking Kenda needs.
The gun is determined to be the weapon that fired the shot that entered and exited Mr. Zampa, and further, the weapon is defective. It would easily fire without touching the trigger.
It's a defective piece of crap, is really what it comes down to. And if you think about our case, it could very well be just as opposed to just a robbery.
Evidence of a faulty gun gives Kenda a much better understanding of how events unfolded the night Zampa was shot.
Damn it. Just try turning it back on. Look, it ain't gonna work. The hell am I gonna get the money to fix this damn thing?
He's complaining that this thing is nickel and diming him to death.
And Mr. Zampa comes walking down the street in his coat and tie, and looks like he might have a few dollars on his person. McFarland has no knowledge of who Donald Zampa is or cares. He is a victim of opportunity.
Look at what he's wearing. It's definitely some cash. Hey, whoa, what the hell, man? What are you doing? Don't worry. This guy's my voice. Wait, Rod, stop. Don't turn around. Whoa.
And Rodney McFarland is not Hispanic by any stretch of the imagination, but he used that accent to throw off the victim.
Keep your hands up and get on your knees. Come on, man. Okay, now give me.
It's an accidental discharge. McFarland is shocked that the gun goes off.
Help me. Please.
No robbery is attempted. Now it's run away.
It wasn't his intent. It was an accident, but it was an accident committed in the course of a criminal episode, which still makes it a crime.
Rodney McFarland pleads guilty to attempted aggravated robbery and is sentenced to 10 years in prison. Chris Powell is cleared of all charges.
There is a happy ending to this story, because even though Donald had all these cards stacked against him, he survived. He went on to fully recover and happily marry and have children and grandchildren. That would give you a whole new perspective on life, I think.
Armed robbery is one of the only violent crimes where the victims are selected at random. In the case of Donald Zampa, what was his crime? Being in the wrong place at precisely the wrong moment. He's just a very lucky guy. He lived through it. Many don't.
Coming up, Kenda must decipher the intent of a dead-eye teenager.
People shoot people deliberately and try to call self-defense. They lie about it.
It's getting late, and delivery man Kirk Farrell is making his last stop of the night.
Kirk Farrell is a convenience store delivery man. He goes in late nights to multiple stores, takes out the old products, bring in the new products, and he hears two cars pull up. There's a sound of a disturbance, people yelling.
The voices are getting more raised and the situation is getting more tense. And all of a sudden, he hears a shot.
He starts to take cover behind his truck. And at that time, he hears a second gunshot.
I'm sure he was scared and very confused. It's not like he can just call 911. He's gonna have to go back into the store to do that.
Within the hour, Lieutenant Joe Kenda pulls up to the scene.
In 1991, we had an exceptionally high number of homicides for the size of city at that time. This particular case was one short of a record of 24 set in 1974.
Hey, Lieutenant. Hey, Gary. So what we got? We got one shooting victim, 21-year-old Todd Iverson. Kid was rushed to the hospital, but pronounced DOA.
Any witnesses?
Got a couple, actually, including the shooter. He's already in custody, and so's his gun.
Really?
And we got his friend over here in this cruiser.
It appears we have a major step up. We have the shooter, and we have the weapon.
All right, let's take a look at the scene.
We have a puddle of blood on the sidewalk in front of the main window of the store, which is apparently where this victim collapsed.
Toilet paper, huh?
Yeah, I got a t-shirt here, too.
They must have been hemorrhaging pretty bad.
Most likely, all of these items were used to stop the bleeding on the victim before medical arrived.
You got blood drops.
There is a pattern of blood moving toward the two cars in the lot.
Nice cars.
Yeah, our victim was a passenger in this car with his buddy. And our suspect was driving this car with a friend of his.
All right, I'm gonna take a look at the victim's car. Why don't you take the suspects?
You got it.
So you have two sports cars where speed and power are important. It speaks to the personality of the owner. Looking at the interior of the car, there's no evidentiary value, nothing covered in blood. It's most likely then that our victim is shot outside of his car.
Hey, Lieutenant. Come take a look at this.
In the trunk, we find 41 expended casings neatly placed into an ammunition box.
What's the shooter's name?
Scott Sneed.
Well, Mr. Sneed obviously has experience with a gun.
It is not uncommon for people who routinely shoot. They recover their expended casings for purposes of reload.
But check this out. Kid's on the Olympic Development Shooting Team.
No kidding.
So Scott Sneed has an unusual skill in that he is a very good marksman. And he's involved in kind of a pre-Olympic program here.
This kid's probably a better shot than all of us.
Yeah.
By the time they come out of that training program, they are scary good shots. Their rate of accuracy is just incredible.
So, Mr. Sneed is very good with a gun. If he is going to shoot you, he is going to kill you. And Mr. Iverson has discovered that the hard way.
So we'll see what he has to say.
My first impression of Mr. Sneed is he's a scrawny little kid. His identification says he's 18 years old. He looks like he's 12.
What were you and your buddy up to tonight?
Well, I mean, we were just out for a late movie, and we got hungry, and we knew that this was going to be the only place that was open.
He says they were just going to run in, grab some food, and head on home.
Man, I'm starving.
Me too.
That was a good... Yeah, what? Do I know? Whoa, hey, chill, bro. What's your problem? As soon as I opened this car door, this guy just rushed me out of nowhere. I had no choice. I had to defend myself.
Okay, do you know Todd Iverson? Why would he come at you like that?
I've got no clue. I've never seen that guy before in my life.
Okay.
The mere fact that Mr. Sneed reports that he doesn't even know this guy leaves an enormous shadow of doubt in his claim of self-defense. It is not common for perfect strangers to violently assault someone they don't know upon first contact.
Kenda wonders if Scott Sneed is
Deliberately and try to call self-defense. They lie about it.
Take him around the station.
Yes, sir. Wait, am I going to jail for this?
I'll be done to talk to you later.
I didn't mean to hurt the guy, I swear, okay?
Why is it that Mr. Iverson is threatening Mr. Sneed if Mr. Sneed says he doesn't know Mr. Iverson? There has to be motivation. Somebody has to believe you're their enemy.
You want to talk to the kid who was in the car with Scott? No, let's send him down to the station. I'll talk to him later. He's probably just going to back up his friend's story anyhow. I want to talk to the kid that was in the victim's car.
Kenta is hoping Todd Iverson's friend can shed some light on what the issue between Scott and Todd was all about.
So what's your name, son?
Joe Fleming.
How old are you?
I am 17. How's Todd?
Well, I'm sorry to say he's not going to make it.
When I found out Todd died, it was a shock. Just couldn't believe it. It was unreal at that point.
And I know this is difficult. Will you tell us how you knew Todd?
Yeah, we grew up together.
I met Todd in the neighborhood because I saw him riding by on a nice BMX bike. So I jumped on my bike and went out and got to talking from there and just hit it off.
But after Todd graduated, he moved to Arizona for trade school.
So what was he doing here now?
Just visiting. He got into town a few days ago. Tonight we were just celebrating him being home.
We're all pretty excited to get all back together again and hang out. Our group of friends were just real tight.
Tonight was awesome, man. I really missed you guys.
We missed you too. I told Bob I was going to convince you to stay for good this time.
You can try. Hey man, pull over right here. Let's get more beer.
Todd's the liquor source. He's 21. He can buy alcohol.
When we pulled in, I recognized the car in front of us. Hey, that's Sneed's car.
Oh, really? Let's get him. I'm hungry, man.
Me too.
But that movie was really good. Yeah? Do I even know you? Oh, hey, chill out, bro. What's your... Hey, asshole.
Todd did throw a punch at Scott, but missed. Didn't hit him.
So what was the deal between Todd and Scott?
Todd?
Yeah, why did Todd hate Scott?
Todd, he doesn't even know Scott. I'm the one who hates Scott.
So we are thinking random act of violence doesn't make any sense. Well, now it makes sense. Now it makes perfect sense. We're investigating the death of 21-year-old Todd Iverson. We were skeptical when our suspect, Scott Sneed, said he didn't know Mr. Iverson, but maybe he really didn't know him. We need to rethink that.
So, Joe, you're the one who has a problem with Scott. What's it over?
Well, his girlfriend Nikki is best friends with my girlfriend, but he's no good to her.
Joe is not at all keen on how Scott treats his girlfriend.
The other night, he had Nikki crying, and my girlfriend calls him to tell him off.
My girlfriend was arguing with him over the phone, back and forth, and that's when I heard the threats.
He said he would kick my girlfriend's ass if she came between him and Nikki. I would have knocked him out had he said that in front of me.
Scott made me mad. I really didn't care for the way he treated his girlfriend and the way he was talking to mine.
At the root of all of this is the normal high school drama that goes nothing. Perception, believed slight, perceived bad behavior, all that sort of thing. That's all.
So Scott's problems with you, why did Todd go after him?
I mean, I told Todd about Scott and all that he had done. I guess he had had a few beers.
Todd understood that Joe didn't like Scott. And he's probably the leader of this little clique and probably the enforcer should something go wrong.
He was jumping out to protect my honor over something that I was pissed about.
So what happened when Todd got out of the car?
Todd took a swing at Scott, and I got out to defuse the situation.
At that point, Scott had already pulled out a handgun.
Hey, back off, bro.
Dude, come on, let's go. Let's forget about it.
He fired a shot, went between us, which, I backed off from there. I told Todd, come on, let's not do this. But Todd stayed there.
I'm walking away. Next thing I know, I hear another gunshot. Now Todd's covered in blood.
At that moment, I was very upset. Did not have a reason to pull out a gun. Worst thing that probably would have happened that night was a little fight.
I understand how you feel. Thanks for your cooperation. Sorry about your friend.
Joe Fleming's story is eye-opening and ultimately lends credence to Scott Sneed's claim of self-defense.
Mr. Iverson is much bigger than Mr. Sneed. His size alone would strike fear into the heart of an 18-year-old kid.
However, there is still one issue keeping Kenda on the fence.
Now, a marksman like Scott's gonna hit exactly what he aims for. He shot him dead. I know. You think he would have shot him in a non-lethal area? You know what? Maybe he did.
Where is this victim shot? It's a demonstration of intent.
As the sun rises, Kenda heads to the morgue in search of some answers.
So the bullet perforated his right lung. He died relatively quickly.
Okay, where was the entrance wound?
Well, that's what's interesting. The bullet entered at his right shoulder, hit the clavicle, ricocheted downward into the lung. See right here where it fractured the clavicle?
Yeah, that makes all the difference.
The shooter, in this case, a competitive trained shooter, can make that bullet go anywhere. And yet he selects the upper right shoulder. It is mere accident that the bullet happened to strike the clavicle and ricochet, lacerating the lung and killing the guy. Had that round been a half-inch lower or a half-inch higher, it would have been an entry-exit gunshot wound, treatable with the Band-Aids.
So Scott was intentionally trying not to kill him. All right, thanks, Doc.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Kenda now wants to talk with Scott to see if his story does in fact line up with what he's just learned.
I want to talk to Scott some more about precisely what he did when he decided to level that weapon at his opponent. That's the key to this case. That's the key.
How you doing, Scott?
Not so good. That guy died?
Yeah, he did. Scott, do you know where you shot Todd?
Well, I was aiming for his shoulder, but if he died, then... What, did I miss? I mean, it's like I told you before, I didn't mean to kill anybody, I swear.
I believe you, Scott. And no, you didn't miss.
He aims for a non-vital area. He only fires one shot. He's not out of control. He's not emptying the gun into this guy. He is trying to stop his advance.
At this point, Kenda has a clear picture of what happened that night.
Two cars, by fate, by karma, by whatever means, show up in the same place at the same time. Mr. Iverson, at this point in his life, had enough alcohol in him to provide him with a motive to demonstrate his machismo. Oh yeah? That's the guy that did that? Well, I'm going to teach that boy a lesson.
Hey! Help you?
Todd tries to strike you. He actually misses.
Hey, chill out, bro. What's your problem? Hey, asshole. You want some hey, Todd, really. Get off me, bro. Hey, back off, bro. Hey, what are you gonna do with that, huh? What are you gonna do? Back off!
Scott, in fear of his own personal safety, fires a warning shot to try to tell Todd to back off and stop.
Mr. Iverson, the victim, ignores. He continues his behavior.
Back off, man. Just forget about it. He is a bitch. He's not gonna shoot me. You stop!
Mr. Sneed pulls up that gun and puts one in his right shoulder. It hits a bone and it ricochets exactly the wrong direction. And cuts his lung in half and kills him.
You didn't give me a choice, man. You didn't give me a choice, man. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Come on.
Hey, here.
No, wake up. Come on, go get something. This is not gonna be enough.
He did take his shirt off and throw it towards.
Scott had a noble reaction. He really was trying to do what he could to undo what he'd just done.
He's not dancing with joy that he has shot his enemy. That certainly speaks volumes about Mr. Sneed's intent.
I can't believe I killed him. So what's gonna happen to me?
Oh, we're gonna have to figure that out.
Scott Sneed is charged with manslaughter. But when the district attorney takes the case to a grand jury, they come to a different conclusion.
The grand jury comes back indicating that they did not feel that Scott acted in a criminal manner, but he acted in self-defense. So all charges were dropped.
Unfortunately for Scott, he couldn't overcome the magnitude of what happened that fateful night.
Mr. Sneed, as it turned out, at the age of 26, committed suicide as a result of depression.
It really is tragic that Todd didn't make it. It was also tragic for Scott. And, you know, a tiny bit of luck could have changed this so much.
If I could do it over again, I probably just would have said, keep your eye or something. Keep him around. He didn't have a chance to get married, have kids, you know, do the things that we're all doing now.
It's very sad, but it is what people do. And guys like me are forced to pick up the pieces, as it were, and sweep up the crime scene and turn to the rest of the public and say next, because there's going to be a next.